right, hello, good evening. Kind of took an extended jam there for a change and did some farting around and making some sounds. So, who's here? Uncle Chrome, good to see you, Paul. Wabbit, good to see you. Quasor and XF Stripe, good to see you guys tonight. So, well, let me turn the try and turn the synths down a little bit. Where is that? That's over here somewhere, maybe. There it is. Back the synth bus off a little bit. Sounding around. Let me bring this up so I can see things bigger. Sounding around, making some farts. Yep, Rustic, welcome. Good to see you. And I got the coffee thing going again. So let me rearrange the cameras. Oh, okay. Well, that's fine. They kind of got a slow start tonight. Too, from what I noticed. I was there for a little bit, and then had to come off and do this. So let's see. Let me get the pictures right here. We want, I think that one for now. That looks good. So, okay, maybe not. I love it when things have a mind of their own. Let me turn off the camera spinner. And now I should be able to have control over what I want. There we go. All right. They were talking hypnosis when you left, huh? Oh my gosh. They were kind of all over the place tonight, man. At least a little bit that I watched. I was running around taking care of some other stuff. Excuse me. And kind of in a laid-back mood, so I didn't jump into chat all that at all. But it was getting kind of crazy over there. Oh, thanks, Rustic. Appreciate it. So anyway, so a few things to talk about tonight. Before we get to that, though, I'll run through what I keep forgetting to run through, which is what's in the jam. So let's see. We've got a few things going tonight. Let's bring up the PC. And so we got, let me mute some stuff out. So the background is a patch I did in Zyklop. Baby's down. All right. Hey, Jeff. Good to see you. And I'll catch up with you on some stuff too while we're here. But first off, stuff in the jam. Zyklop. That's the free version of Myth. And the single iris version, which I've been playing with just because I have both versions, but this is what I've been playing with lately. So it's let's see, this thing that's playing is actually a Signs of Life preset that I picked up. And Myth is free. Myth. And Myth is not free. Zyklop is. Wabbit. And maybe I'll, if I haven't already, I'll drop a link to it in the show notes. I usually try and get all the links in before we start, but I may not have made that tonight. So anyway, that's providing that kind of background pad. And let's see. I had some questions earlier about the percussion, and I will come back to that because someone wanted to know what I was doing with the percussion. Just real quick, it's Session Percussionist, which is a chrome instrument, kind of a unique one. So we'll get back to that. I was playing around with the patch on the fly with the Take 5, doing this. And you notice on the screen I've got tuner up. I was having a problem a couple of weeks ago. It was not wanting to be in tune, which was a little annoying. It seems to be fine now. I'm not sure what the deal was, but it wanted to be out of tune. So we got that squared away. Also in the jam is, of course, the Polybrute. And that, of course, responds real well to the Poly Aftertouch, although I was playing it from its own keyboard. Let's see. I don't know what I have assigned actually on that patch, because that's kind of a new patch too. Been having a lot of fun with sound design in the background the last couple of weeks. Jeff, I do not envy you, all girls. Of course, I don't have any kids, so what? I don't know what necessarily basis of background I have on that. Good evening, Luke. Thank you for coming. Good to see you. As always. I don't know, Luke. It's like I always start at 8-ish. And I actually started a couple minutes early tonight. Half God, half beast, welcome. Good to see you. Kent Spong is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome. Looks like the time is coming. Tao, good to see you. And let's see. So where else were we? What else do we have in the... Oh, of course, we have the... let's see, we have the opsix. I didn't really play much with it, but we'll bring it out later. Turn it up, I guess. Oh yeah, it's there. It's doing that kind of freaky thing. George, good to see you. Welcome. Reconsider it. Recon, my man. My gosh, wow. My gosh, folks coming. SOR Raid. Thanks for the sub, appreciate it. And let's see, so that was in the jam. The Wave State, I was playing this piano thing that I just love. Of course, it's doing something weird, George. Yeah, it's invasion of the channel, so I guess yep. Marilyn's here, Tracker Jack. Good to see everybody. So I got to do that. Marilyn's here, so I need to do that one. Oh my goodness. So anyway, yep, in the house. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming over. Let me get back to where that was supposed to be, which is that. So anyway, interesting that the Wave State stopped doing what I wanted it to do. I'm not sure what's up with that. Let me take a look. Here, off camera. Oh, it's muted. That's why it's not doing what I expect. Here we go. Of course, you're not seeing me play on the other keyboard. We're going to take you guys for one of Wabbit's rides. Let's see, we'll take you over this way. There you go, Wabbit. And then, of course, it would not be a complete night tonight if I didn't bring in the multi-poly. I'm playing here, but it is sitting. Let's see. I think this is the right button. Nope, wrong button. Ah, you're going to go for 2 rides. Sorry. Yeah, fair warning, Tal. River X, welcome. Good to see you. I'm going to send you on another ride there, Tron Dog. My gosh, all kinds of folks coming in tonight. So I'm going to spin you around to the other side of the room, folks. Here we go. This one's going to be a little faster, but it feels like Wayne's World. Never really thought of it that way. Okay, I'm going to swing the camera back around to the center here. So hang on. Viral. Welcome. So anyway, let's see. Let's get off that stuff anyway. We'll come to here. I'm going to cough again, so I'm going to jump off the mic real quick. Extreme close-up. Ah, that's not extreme. I can back it off a little bit if you want. There, how's that? That better? So, thank you. Just another couple PTZs. Yeah, I'm gonna get myself back to the point where I run out of switcher inputs again if I'm not careful. So anyway, thanks for the sub, River. I do appreciate it. Stuff to talk about tonight. I do have a few things. Let me pull up the magic list here on the phone. Today is the 16th. Okay, so first and foremost, I'll try not to do too many more of those spins, guys, but I know that Trusto, good to see you, my friend. Like to see. I know Wabbit likes those PTZ moves, and of course, what is he? Is he not even here? Did he run away? Did the Wabbit scamper away? I bet you he did. I bet you he did. Nick. My gosh, a big house tonight. Who's who? Let me look at the actual list. Let's see who's here. We got George and me, and I have gone to see if I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I guess Wabbit ran away. I thought he was here for a moment. Okay, let's see. I got the crew here though. That's good. Cool. Let me go back to the chat on my screen over there. So anyway, oh, you're great, Carrots. So anyway, the fam is here. Yes, indeed. Thank you for all coming over. I do appreciate it. So I do promise, one thing I made sure I was going to promise is that I will try to avoid a repeat of the Coke bottle Mentos move from last week. I will try very hard to avoid that move. So if I do, just avert your eyes, okay? But I intend to avoid that, and get on to the topics at hand, which include the biggest one, I guess, is as Unca Chrome can attest, I took the multi-poly out to a live jam on Sunday, and it was interesting to take it out. It I mean, I'm obviously I'm a huge fan of the synth. I absolutely love it, but I kind of discovered that, at least in my current level of using it and the way I have it set up, no Paul, I did not forget to leave it. That's for sure. In my current development with it, it's not, for me, the best live jam synth. For a few reasons. It's really a deep synth, and so when you're trying to come up with something, you know, I like, when I do a jam, I like to have sounds that are kind of made on the fly. And be careful, George. Don't look at these moving pictures. Look at the road. Where are you that the weather is bad? But the actually, no, don't tell me where you are. You're driving, so never mind. And so I don't. When you hit a traffic light, George, tell us where you are. It's really deep, and so, oh, Connecticut, okay, yeah, be careful up there. It's not only is the weather probably bad for you, but the people are crazy on the roads. Anyway, I've driven there. It's not my favorite place to drive. The depth makes it really difficult to build something fast on the fly. And part of that may be that, yeah, well, there's things about it. There's 4 layers. Each layer has 4 oscillators. Each oscillator can be one of 3 different basic types. You know, there's 2 filters. There's no real visual indication on the front panel what oscillators are routed into what filters, and you know, you can every layer is a complete synth with 4 oscillators and 2 filters and 2 LFO, or a stack of LFOs, 5 LFOs, and 4 envelopes and all this stuff. So while some things are kind of sort of semi-permanently routed or default routed, other things are not, like, you know, where you're sending an oscillator to and all that kind of thing. So well, and that's it. And so, you know, what I came up, you know, the thought that I came up with is that what I need to do is set up some starting points, and then that way, you know, it's if, you know, kind of a mood, I grab a starting point, and then I go and I can build from there. And I don't need to use all of the layers or all of the oscillators. It's really so, and so the thing to do with it is think about it in a way, just think about one synth at a time. It's 4 synths. Think about it as 4 synths. And it really can be 4 synths. So think about one at a time. And, you know, start with the basic stuff. You know, don't even get into the sequencing and all that kind of thing for it. Yeah. It's so, if you take it in chunks, it actually gets pretty easy to understand. It's just there's certain things that are a little tricky to get to. Modulation is a little. I'm just getting my head around the modulation system. In fact, tonight I got a whole while I was setting up here, I got a couple of light bulbs went on over my head, and it's like, oh, that's how that works. So anyway, I'm really excited about the synth. It's pretty much my favorite right now. If you go through, you know, if you visit my website, you will see that, you know, there at GarenM.net, you'll see that I have a long love-hate relationship with Korg. And the quick story, my first real synthesizer was a Korg DS8, and I keep going back. Even after at least one really bad experience with Korg, I still keep going back. And a number of years ago with another model, I had a kind of a light bulb going over my head about Korg, and that pretty much all of their synthesizers, all of their modern synthesizers work the same way. and all of the editors are really good. The thing that enlightened me to that, number one, was looking at some software. Oh, cool. Yes, it is. I think it's the YM2151. It is a 4-op FM chip, Yamaha FM chip, and that was a neat little synth. But what I learned is in their modern stuff, I was doing a comparison basically of some of the models of Korgs that I'd had, and was going through the software and found that, oh, okay. And there's a couple of stories about that on the website. There's a series of posts on the website that kind of document the Korgs that I've had over the years. But anyway, they've all shared a kind of a common architecture, and that became really apparent to me, especially once I had the Kronos. And so the architecture of all of the Korgs, with a couple of exceptions, is kind of in my mind. Everyone's got some other different things kind of glued on, but it's not too far out of the realm, no matter where you go. I'm still having a hard time, though, getting my head wrapped around the wave state. I'll circle back to that, and I'll get it. Now that I understand more about the multi-poly, I think that's going to help me understand more about the wave state. But let's see, where were we? Come on, there we go. So until I get that, unfortunately, Paul, until I get myself some starting points and get that get those starting points set up in the thing, I probably will be leaving the multi-poly at home for a while. You'll see it again, though, don't worry, at the jams. And probably it'll probably figure into whatever I do for live performance in the future. Other little news, some of you probably, if you're Korg folks, you probably already know this. Karma pair of electrives, Korg DS10. What's the DS10? I don't know the DS10. I know the DS8, and it's that's some old stuff. So the Take 5 will probably bring be what I bring next time I come, depending on what the date is. Okay. I've not dealt with any of the stuff on the DS or any of that kind of thing. So depending on what the dates are, Paul, I'll bring the Take 5, or maybe the Cobalt 5, one of those two. So anyway, for other thing for Korg folks, opsix native got an update, and I'm not sure that a couple of the things they did are good. Chaos Pad is just plain fun, Paul. Now that I've actually got my fingers on one. So one of the things that they did, they made a change that I don't know that they should have made in the opsix native, and I don't use it a lot, but I do know that if something like this had changed under me, yeah, it's up to 1.3.8 or something like that. They made a change when you're doing, when you're editing on screen with opsix native. It used to be that when you double clicked on a value, you could then type in a numerical number, numerical entry. They've changed it now, so if you double click, it resets it to 0 or to the default entry. And so I'm not sure that kind of a change is a good one. especially since it's been out there long enough now that people are used to doing things a certain way, and you're kind of making a major change. But that's, you know, other stuff. There's not a whole lot else going on. They've added some visualization of parameter modulations. When you do a randomize, instead of just sitting there staring at you, it tells you that randomization is in progress. This is nice. There's a context menu that's displayed when you right-click on a parameter, and it now will allow you to set up, delete, or edit virtual patches. That's really nice because that way you can do. So right-clicking now lets you set up, edit, or delete virtual patches. So you can and I haven't installed it on this machine here yet, so I've been playing with it on the test bed. I didn't have time to get it installed before tonight. So now when you right click, you can set up modulation patches right there on the control, which is kind of nice. Going to start now. Yes, can't get started. Whatever it was. So that's pretty much it. Then some bug fixes and whatnot. So that was I just figured I'd get that out there I knew a bunch of your Korg fans. Oh boy, here we go. So anyway, so that's pretty much that. I also mentioned that someone had asked me about the percussion tracks that I've been using lately, and so I've been doing. I've been using something from Native Instruments. It's a contact instrument called Session Percussionist, and we could take a quick look at it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time fooling around with it, but it's actually really kind of a neat plug-in. Or a neat instrument for contact. And the thing is, you don't have to have the pay version of contact. You can use the free player. So if we jump over to the PC and I go into the track, it's really kind of a neat little thing. It's pretty simple, but it's also can be fairly complex. I'm going to go ahead and mute out the oh, I thought I turned that on. Okay, well, I guess I didn't. Okay, so let's go ahead and mute out some of the other stuff. I'll just hit the mute buttons here. Get that to go away, that to go away. So all you should have now is still the piano going. There we go. So all we've got now is the percussion. And so Session Percussionist lets you set up these little percussion groove kind of things going on, and it's kind of designed to be used with the like the Control S series of keyboard controllers. So maybe I should try and put both of them up. Yeah, and I'll spin you around here a little bit. We'll go to this shot. I don't know how we're going to be able to see some of this, but I'll do this, and I'll do some manual stuff here. So you can sort of see on the keyboard there's colors, color-coded lights above the keys. Doesn't show up real well, unfortunately, from the camera angle that I have. But let's see if I lighten the picture up a little bit. You can see it some at the expense of seeing what's on the screen. So each of these zones, let's actually stop the playback. Where is it? So there are a number of ways that this works. Each of the instruments, there's in this particular setup, there's 4 instruments, and each one has a group of little patterns for the individual instruments. Let me turn the synth bus back up. real quick. So there's different patterns on keys. And then you can play individual articulations. And then, so it's what all these instruments are in this one, I forgot. You can click on them to see what they are. So this one is hand claps, and they're here. Can't see here because everything's small. That we've got what do we got here? Cajon here. So it's got its patterns, and everything's color coded. So the blue ones that you can see, that you can't quite see, but these kind of teal ones are the cajon. And then the last instrument we have here, I think, is what we got here. I can't quite see. Is a shaker in this particular groove, and so it's very quiet, but it's up here. So Percussionist is pretty cool. And then if I come down an octave, you can see the green ones up here. These are different. There's usually like 5 different grooves. It combines all of those grooves in different ways. So if I hit this, it's going to play all the first ones. And so you can go ahead and change whatever combination. I think you can have up to 5 different 5 different instruments in a session, and you can get in. What's kind of neat with these is you can get in. You can choose your instrument per each of the instruments, and then you can also get in, and you can't quite see it on the screen here because it's kind of folded down. But you can get into edit, and you can start to edit the patterns for each instrument, each track in each instrument. So it's really cool. And most of the ones that I've used, I've gone in and grabbed a preset and then then edited it, easy for me to see slightly. And you can change articulations, you can change velocity settings, timing, how far off the beat it is, flams. I mean, anything about it you can kind of monkey with. And so it's really a very cool, fun percussion system. And Karen, welcome. So it is pretty nifty. It was definitely worth the price of admission. It is included, I believe, in the current version of Complete, but it can also be. You don't have to have the whole Complete. You don't even have to have the full paid version of Contact. It works in the Contact player. I'm going to break off here from this. I just wanted to just give a quick overview of what this was doing, because someone had asked if I spend some more time with it, which I have not. Everything takes time, and I keep ending up with less and less of it. But what I'd like to do is get myself a little more familiar with it, get into being able to play with it a bit more, and then I can do a proper demo of it at some point. But so I'm going to kind of jump out of my script here for a minute. Kent, what happened with your Pro 3? I'm curious. Okay, so it's on sale right now. Good. That's good to know. And we're talking the Session Percussionist. I think Native Instruments have done a whole lot of stuff with Contact since version 6. They're up to version 8 now.
What happened? Did it just up and die, or what's the deal on the Pro 3? Because that's kind of disturbing. With the Take 5 sitting over here too, it's like, is it something that I'm going to have to worry about coming up and biting me? Because that would not be fun, especially if I'm going to think about taking it out. Just don't turn on the next morning. Just didn't turn on. Huh. That's disturbing. That would be the power supply would be the first thing that I would check. As a technician myself, that would be the first place, and I'm sure that's the first place Kent's looking as well. Hopefully it's something simple. I've not seen inside a Pro 3. I've not even opened the case on the Take 5. PSU is fine. That's worrisome. Definitely worrisome. Is it? I mean, if it's just like not turning on at all. Wow, that's not fun. Yeah, not fun at all. That doesn't bode well. Yeah, that might be, or some sort of. Hopefully it is something relatively simple like that, but finding SMT fuses is not easy. Other circuit board mounted fuses are usually a little easier to find. But wow, I will look forward to hearing, Kent, what you find. Yeah, SMT is well, I've been doing it. I've been doing surface mount stuff since there's been surface mount stuff. So it's but yeah, if you're not set up for it, if you're not set up to work on it, it's not fun. It can be tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the computer myself here for a second. Get this out of the way. Press play. And bring some of the background stuff back in. Just so I'm not talking over nothing. So we'll get Myth playing again, or a Zyklop playing again in a couple bars. I hope. There it goes. And let's turn the synth bus back down while we're talking. There we go. That should be a little better. I'm sure something's missing, but that's okay. It'll be fine for now. See, that's on. We'll turn everything back on. There we go. All right. So anyway, what else is going on here? Let's see what you guys are looking at. Oh, you're looking at my face. I don't want that. Some days I wonder about this phone. There we go. So the other thing that was 9 iron for SMT. Talking about, let's see, we're talking about electronics. I hope it's not an arm brain death. That's never good. So I don't know. As far as preferring SMT over thru-hole, I think it depends on what it is. There's some things like, and I've talked about this before. there are things that, in my opinion, should not be relying on SMT techniques and the biggest one to me, the one that I gripe about the most, is mounting of USB connectors. USB. I don't like surface mount potentiometers, and because things that take things that take a lot of pressure, that's not what SMT is not designed or not intended to hold through that. It's just, you put a USB port, a USB B port on something, and use the ground lugs as the mounting lugs, and they don't go through the board. That's going to break. The solder joint is going to break, and because you may have a good good electrical bond, but you don't have a good mechanical bond, and so the joint is going to fail at some point. Now, if it's something that's if it's a connector that's internal to a device and it never gets touched, like a Hiroshi connector or something where you've got it for a keyboard cable or something like that, that's not so bad, because it's there to assemble. It's only ever touched for service typically, so that's not so bad. But if it's something like an external jack or plug of some sort, or control buttons, then micro USB or any of those kind of things. Those kind of things, Jeff, like the caps, resistors, microcontrollers, that kind of thing. SMT is great. It's nice and small. It's actually not hard to work with, again, if you have the right tools. If you don't have the right tools, it can be a problem, or it can be challenging at best. So all kinds of things that it's fine for, but other things, they should be soldered and bolted down, but good. So, one other thing I wanted to talk about. Behringer has made a splash with the Wave coming out, which is their PPG clone, PPG Wave clone coming out. Looks very interesting. If the demos are indication, it sounds great. And from what I've heard, it sounds like a Wave 2.2 or 2.3. So, not to be outdone, though, fast on the heels of Behringer's announcement, Waldorf put their PPG Wave 3.V software on sale for an amazing $29, and I hemmed and hawed because me, it's like, what, yet another wavetable synth. So so I went and but I went ahead and bought it. What the heck? Because if it is indeed a true copy of or emulation of the Wave, then it's got something unique about it. And I don't, if there's something unique, that's fine. And so, from what I've heard, it gets the filter right, and that's the kind of the signature part of the PPG Wave is the filter, and the aliasing that goes on in that filter. And so I figured, well, okay, that's unique enough that I'll go ahead and buy the thing, because the wavetables for the PPG Wave are readily available. I've already got them. I've used them in my Microfreak and in other things in software. but and I see that comment that it's great, and that the plugin is great, and I wish I could attest to that, because in my machines, both of them, both of my computers, it crashes. It absolutely locks up and crashes Ableton Live, to the point that I can't exit. I can't even do a force quit. I have to reboot the computer to get it unlocked, and it's repeatable. It happens again and again and again, and so I'm glad that it was only on sale for only $29, because I was really looking forward to the sound. I'm not sure what the deal is. No, I do not use a yeah, I know it's a real copy of Live. I would, and I've run the updates. At this point, it's, I don't know what's causing it, because I don't have that problem with other VSTs, and so I'm not sure what's going on. Harmonic, what did you figure out anything? Yeah, exactly. Waldorf has never been known. However, now that said, I had some questions for them about another piece of software a number of months ago, and it's not the microwave. This was an older piece of software I had questions for them about, and they were extremely prompt about answering and giving me the information that I was asking about. So I have to give them that. I will probably shoot them a note, and ask them what if they've got any thoughts. The interesting thing is that I'm running Windows, and the Windows 11 on both machines, and latest version of Windows 11, latest version of Ableton Live, and it's interesting. On one of the machines runs an Intel i9, and when I load before it crashes, the PPG Wave software takes the CPU to the top and just the CPU usage goes through the roof. On the Ryzen 9 machine, the CPU usage goes up to around 4% when I put it on there and load it up. But in every case, I'm fine for a little bit, and then it locks up. So there's some sort of memory leak going on or whatever in the thing. It was a little disappointing, but so far my luck with Waldorf plugins has not been stellar, which is a shame. And like I said, I'm glad it was only $29. If we can figure out, if I can figure out how to get it fixed, I'll use it. Otherwise, it's not terrible. But if it works for you, though, if you're having good luck with it, I'm thinking it's it would be absolutely fantastic, because the little bit of sound that I have heard out of it has been very good. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put it, Luke. I don't have space. I don't have space for another keyboard. That's from what I've heard of the Behringer, though, or the Behringer, or whatever you want to call it, it sounds great. The comparisons that I've heard people have done side by sides against third waves, and I've heard side by side of the third wave against the actual PPG. So it's real close to sounding like the real thing, and so that's and so I've played with the PPG wavetables in Vital and in Pigments and some other stuff. So the way I've got the wavetables, I can shove them in the into the multi-poly if I want. Not sure why why the camera's focus is drifting. It's supposed to be manual. Let's see if I can get it back. Just one minor issue that I have with the BZB Gear camera. Focus tends to drift sometimes. There we go. Tends to drift a little bit. I'm sure it does have poly. Well, you know, so if a synth doesn't have polychain, and I saw this was an interesting thing. Speaking about polychaining, I was saw some videos and people commenting on videos about some of these new Behringer micro synths that are coming out, and going on about them being able to be polychained. And as I'm looking at these things, it's like, well, there's no way they can be polychained. They don't have a MIDI out/through. So the only way to so they can't, you know, talk to each other in a chain. So the only way to polychain them is to do it externally somehow with, you know, like the little blocus thing or whatever, you know. It's just all these people are going on about polychain something that can't be polychained, and how great it's going to be. So it should be interesting when they, without a MIDI out, and the brain work to be able to do the handoffs. It can't chain, you know. Now that Blocus MIDI hub, you could set it up in there, so you've got a MIDI in, and you can set up the logic to do polychaining to emulate polychaining, and send it out to up to 4 different synths. So you could do that, but you'd have to do something external with those things. Otherwise, you know, to say, but there's no way for them to set up the chain. So anyway, some of those little Behringer mini synths are kind of interesting, but so interesting, you know. They did an update just recently to their Pro VS little baby knockoff of the sequential VS, and that one's kind of intriguing. Yeah, it's $100, you know. Connecting three used key steps. Well, that could be fun. Yeah, they added another voice. That's kind of neat. So in Wagyu, in listening to those things, or in Karen, Karen. The thing is, when they go drop into that emulation for that old sound, it does it so well. You know, it does a the emulations, and even Starsky's emulation, or comparison, it gets it. I mean, it's there. The third wave does it. You know, it does that. It does that aliasing, and I don't know that it's too well. I think maybe it may be more stable. Maybe it's a big maybe, you know. But I thought the sound, at least in his demo and a couple others that I've heard, that third wave has got it down. I mean, it's pretty much nailed. And then, like I said, if Behringer's, you know, that close, then, you know, $700. You know, and Wagyu, it's you know, it's bang on as an evolution, but it also gets that thing. So the Behringer Wave is 8-part multi-timbral. I know the software version from Waldorf is 8-part multi-timbral as well. An authentic superset. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And then it goes on. It does more, and that's it sounds like it's the third wave is really cool. I don't know that it's not something that I'm going to spend $4,000 on. I'll say that. But it's a cool piece. Now I might be convinced to pay $700 for the Behringer, and gets me the more of the original designer of the third wave. Oh yes, so yes, exactly. That was a design goal. The other thing that I saw a video today that one of the designers of the original PPG Wave was in some way involved in the building of the Behringer copy, and he was like, it's nailed. As far as he's concerned, it got it. Yeah, made it random with. Yeah, it's like we need to fit these many parts on the board, so it won't fit in 19 inches. No, I'm sure it's not exactly hard, but there's you've got to get the processing right, and what I don't know, Luke, is a lot of the stuff that Behringer has been doing is they're trying to not only emulate the thing but actually recreate the thing right down to the circuit level. So I don't know what they've done inside the third wave, or I'm sorry, inside the wave. Reading the comment here, I don't know how accurate the filter modeling is either, but what I have noticed is that Waldorf got a lot of modeling stuff right early on. Yeah, 8 layers on the B wave is what I've seen, which I think is the who knows? There's oh yeah, unfortunately, Native Instruments is often not much on doing demo versions of stuff. They kind of want you to buy, and they've most always been that way. Paul, that the iOS microwave sounded pretty good too. I did enjoy that. That actually sounded real good. It was a fun jam yesterday. Smaller group, but a fun jam. Actually, sometimes for me, smaller groups are more fun in general, because you don't have so many people trying to trip over each other. But let's see. Very from different. Let's see. Okay, I'm kind of muttering as I read the chat there. So, all right. Well, anyway, let's see what time we got. 9:15, 10 after 9. I didn't have a whole lot of other stuff to talk about. Let's see what else is going on. Since Ralph Waldorf developed the Microwave 1, does it make me wonder if he's going to add that mode on? I'll pause. I mean, it's what it is. It's okay. It's a little cramped, but we get along. Maybe at some point when we'll get a bit, there'll be more space, but it's working. as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. All right. Well, anyway, thanks, Sonics. It's just a few simple sequences, and that kind of swirly thing that's going on is the that's the opsix, and I love that. Yeah, it's like the new little, you know. Oh, I know what I want. There was one thing I almost forgot. The Korg R&D synths are really cool, and you know, I'm really liking them a lot. Even though, like I said, I'm still having fights with the wave state, but I'll get it squared away because it's now a priority of sorts. But I got a question for you guys. So I'm spinning the camera around to make sure I've sent it to the right place. I'm going to watch off screen while it goes over there. Yes, so it's going to the right place, and I'm going to go ahead and take the other camera now. Let's see, and go to here. So I have a very important question for you. I'm going to turn the other mic on and spin around. One of the thing that, of course, now I can't see what you have to say about this, but so Korg very kindly includes this wonderful little Korg R&D logo sticker, but they don't put it on the synth. They just put it in the box. So the question is, where do I put the sticker? What's the spot for it? There's so much stuff on the panel. It's like I could put it here, you know, down here under this, but would that get, you know, would I trip over that and peel it off, or should it be, you know, up here, you know? But I've been wrestling with this question for, you know, for some time. Well, at least for, you know, the couple of weeks that I've had the thing. So anyway, that's my question. So, Robert, what's the question? Upper right, okay, upper right on the back. Well, so that was a starboard bow. Red right returning. Is there space left with Korg on the top right, or stick it on Timber Wolf for giggles? Upper right corner. The other OG splitters, I didn't know. I don't know why, but that's where I put you. Okay. And that's kind of where it's sitting now is kind of where I was going for, either there, or I was thinking on the back panel. You know, there's actually with the multi-poly, unlike the others, they do actually have the front case material folding down over the back. But let's see, starboard bow on the back. Red right return, right retro. Yep. All right, I'll leave it sit there for a while and see how I think about it. That was kind of where I was thinking about putting it. Interestingly, for some reason, I don't have the little logos for all of my Korg R&D synths, and I'm not even sure this particular one actually didn't come with this synth. It came with one of the others. I got to give my rep at Sweetwater a call, because there was nothing in the apparently most of the other synths have come with, you know, a quick start guide and some paper about, you know, buying the other stuff. This came with absolutely nothing in the box other than the synth, the gig bag, and the power supply. And I've seen some other unboxings where people have had some little baggy of stuff. So yeah, so in the I don't know if it's in the modules. I know it came with the little logo came in the baggie of paperwork with the other, with opsix and wave states and mod waves. So I'm not sure. Really trying not to get them all in. Well, you know, so yeah, so the patch, that's we can talk about that real quick. Let's see. ModWave came with it. I know either I know opsix or wave state came with one. Let's see here. I think we can look real quick at the patch that's running. Let me get set up for that and see if I can do that without blowing things up, because I'm still having that little USB weirdness go on. But what the heck? I'll take one for the team here. So let me. Yeah, okay. I think this is it. Let me bring the computer up full screen. There we go. So now we're looking at the same thing. So this I've got, and I actually did this. I haven't named or saved any of this yet. I was just fooling around with it just in the hour or so before I went on here. This one is, I'm only using 2 oscillators on 1 layer, and I'm using a single filter. I programmed all of this from the front panel of the synth. I didn't do anything in the software. But as I've said before, it's easier to show what's going on in the software, at least in my current setup. So I've got this patch is a combination. Let me get this other stuff out of the background so we can hear it. Kill the opsix and Zyklop. There we go. And kill wave state. And let's get the keyboard control over to there. Oops, wrong one. Over to multi-poly. So this has got, I'm using the wave shaper. Yeah, it looks much better on the screen now. Well, if I show this on the screen. Stand by a second, guys. Let me set this up. Get this on my monitor. I'll do this driving with the without it being on the screen, so I don't get you guys too seasick. At least some of this I want to try and do a close-up of the display. And I've not got all the setups for over on that side of the room done yet. Where's the one push? There it is. Come on, focus up. There we go. There we go. All right, that's good enough for now. Not sure what's going on out in the other room. Someone's on the phone, I guess. I guess my wife's on the phone. Just outside the studio door. So anyway, okay, here we go. It's a little fuzzy. It's not wanting to focus real well, but let's see. What do I have up here? Let's go for. Got this. I'm going to do the cam 1, cam 2 and computer shot, and we'll go in and zoom in a little closer on that. There we go. So yeah, I haven't saved anything from tonight for this yet, but let's see. So if I go over, let's open up both mics so I can move around the room. Let's see. So if I go in here and you can look at oscillator 1, you can see I've got the this is the wave shaper, so you can see what's going on while I'm playing. I've got some subtle modulation on it. And some less subtle modulation. So I've got on I've got the wave, the
some of the morphing parameters on Aftertouch. And that was, to me, that was a having the West Coasty stuff. Oh, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Having some of this West Coast was a big selling point on this for me. So, what have you not heard good reviews of Sonics? I missed that. Oh, was it Serum or Vital? Oh, Vital. So, okay. Go back. If you dig through some of my stuff, you can see what I've done with some of the stuff I've done with Vital. Vital is actually really quite good, and I'm not sure who's not reviewed it well, because every review I've seen of it, people love it. But you can see I've done some things with it, including, I mean, there's things it doesn't have. I'll grant that. Like, it does not have arpeggiation or sequencing, but there's ways around that. And I did a video on how to do sequencing in Vital. But it's thanks for stopping by, Trusto. Good to see you. Yeah, it's always up early. I'm up early. I'll be up early tomorrow too. Vital is reasonable on CPU. And like I say, it doesn't do everything, but it's pretty deep, and you can get into some stuff. Anyway, like I said, having this the wave shaper was a big part of why I wanted to get this. So having the wave shaper, having the really awesome analog, virtual analog stuff, and also, guess what? Wavetables. The heck was that noise? Having the wavetables in there as well. The multi-poly is an all around amazing instrument. The only thing, the place that it falls down, as with all of these, the R&Ds, is the I don't know what they're modeled from, and it may be something that they did themselves. This one is called Berkeley. It's supposed to, this particular wave shaper is called Berkeley. And there's a bunch of them in there. I mean, there's go back to here. In these wave shapers, there's all these different. I mean, there's a whole bunch. There's a slew of them. I mean, just wave shaper after wave shaper after wave shaper. And they're, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I don't even know what half of those are. I've had very little time to play with it. So I've been playing with the classic West Coast one, which is the Berkeley, and so far that's what I played with the most. And then using the Poly Aftertouch on that is. I think it's well worth it, and I'm going to be unpopular, possible unpopular. So this is not a VST that you're seeing, Paul. This is the
editor librarian for the multi-poly. They do not have a VST version of this out as yet. I don't know if they're going to either. So no, this would not pass MIDI CC. However, you can, if you're playing the instrument, it does. It sends out MIDI CC, which you can then record into your DAW. So poly aftertouch on the multi-poly, yes, but not on its keyboard. So I'm using the Control S, which has poly aftertouch, so it responds to poly aftertouch, but the keyboard, its own keyboard, which is, in my opinion, the only weak part of these keyboards. Although this one is better, as I said a couple weeks ago, the keyboard on the multi-poly is considerably better than, well, somewhat better than the other two, or the other three or four. So it's, so yeah, it responds to poly aftertouch. It's a little weird in the way it does it. Something's interfering with the wireless on my in-ears. So it's a little, I'm not quite sure. They've got a little oddness in the logic, I think, for the poly aftertouch, but it does do the thing. So for a poly aftertouch keyboard from Korg, you would have to go to their controller, their new whatever they call that new controller keyboard that they came out with, does do poly aftertouch, and it is the key stage. That's it, and it the key stage has the poly aftertouch. The poly aftertouch on that, I've not played it, but I can tell you that the poly aftertouch on that is amazing, because they're using for the key bed for that they bought from ASM. So it is the same keyboard that it is the same keyboard that's on the Hydrasynth. Yeah, so it's got that keyboard on their controller. The only thing that I don't like about their controller is that yes, they did give it the key stage has 2.0 as well. I'm pretty sure the multi-poly responds to 2.0. I had some other things that were kind of not responding well, so I turned 2.0 off of the Control S, because it can do 2.0, and there were some other things that were conflicting with it, or not working in the way I expected. So it's really not that useful yet. No, you're right. So and Jeff, to your comment, some things would have to go in a drastically different direction than they're going right now for me to actually buy the Polybrute 12, as much as I would love to have one. Because I mean, I absolutely love my regular Polybrute, the 6-voice Polybrute. I don't even care about the additional voices so much. It's more the keyboard that has me jazzed about the Polybrute 12. I'm going to have to insulate that door. My goodness, I don't know how much of you're hearing it. RJ45 Ethernet ratified as one of the official connectors. Okay, that I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I think that's I will say I'm not thrilled with RJ45s in any kind of situation where you're doing a lot of plugging and unplugging, unless you're using ethercons. Yeah, there's that too, because but I would venture to bet they're going to go with they would go with RJ45 because it's readily available and cheap. And I mean they're both available and cheap, but the when they get plugged in and RJ connectors are any kind of USB-C, I hope, or well, actually no, USB-C, USB-A, or the the full size B. I would be fine with. I'm not, although I guess on some of the stuff, on some stuff, I guess you're not going to have any space for anything besides micro. Favorite Star Wars droids. So I've used RJ45 in the field a lot. And it's not a great connector where you're going to be connecting and unconnecting and that kind of thing regularly. It's great for something you plug it in, you set it and forget it. It's great for that. And like I said, EtherCon, if you're using EtherCon, then that's another story. We were talking about Ethernet, Luke, because the RJ45 is one of the ratified connectors for MIDI 2.0, apparently. Yeah, mini USB was much better than micro USB. Absolutely. Yeah, oh joy is right. So and Luke, just so you know, this was not on the agenda for tonight. So as so often happens, the things that are talked about are not what's on the agenda. MIDI 2.0. So MIDI 2.0 is, I mean, it's on DIN 5 now. DIN 5, it's and USB already is where the the 2.0 stuff that's on the street already is. So RJ, yeah, exactly. MIDI 2.0 is the protocol, and then we've got the MIDI 2.0 is, because the other thing, MIDI 2.0 is backwards compatible with 1.0. So that's one of the things that made it take them so long to get this thing working, is that they wanted all this additional capability but still have backwards compatibility. So yeah, so now there are a number of MIDI over TCP type scenarios, and the iConnectivity people have you can expand their stuff with whatever their MIDI RJ45 is, and it can right out of the back of come right out of the back of your PC and into their interfaces, which I've not set up yet. I've been wanting to try it, and I just haven't had time to set it up, because then theoretically you can run an entire MIDI network. Yeah, the MIDI 1.5. A lot of times those two extra connectors are used for power. So you got to be careful what you're sticking on there. Again, the connector doesn't dictate the speed. you can run. I mean, you can run screaming fast data over a DIN with stuff that's connected with a DIN connector. So I don't. I don't. You know, a form factor, like a lot of things, doesn't really dictate a whole lot other than the form factor. You know, DIN at the time that they used DIN connectors, they were plentiful and cheap, but they're not plentiful and cheap anymore. You know, a good quality DIN plug is several, $7 or something like that now, and RJ connectors are pennies, relatively speaking. So, I can see why they want to go that way. It's especially if they set it up so that you can use a standard Ethernet cable that you can buy at any computer store. That makes a lot of sense. You will be limited in length, distance, depending on the Ethernet cable that you buy to do it. Because if you get the nice skinny Superflex cable, you can't run data that as far as you can on like a 23 gauge Cat 6, or even now Cat 7s are using 22 gauge wire, I think. So you get less drop. You can run higher data rates over longer distances. But a lot of people gripe about. A lot of people gripe about TRS MIDI. I don't have a problem with it. I think it works great. The only concern that I have with anything dealing with a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch plug jack is that when you plug it in, as you're plugging it in, you're shorting things out. It's just the way the connector works. Oh my! Now you got me all choked up, Wagyu. That's funny. That's good. I like that. And the UART chips are important. The UART chips that they use to, in the early MIDI 1.0, you couldn't beat those. Those were the best sounding. Oh my gosh. So I wonder, should we? Let's do a MIDI. Let's do MIDI interfaces with 12AX7 tubes, and then we can discuss the relative merits of different 12AX7s. And if we wanted to go longer, we use 6L6s. Longer distances, we use 6L6s. Anyway, all right. I think this discussion is kind of run into the ground. Yeah, more exactly. And so Luke, the something with tone wood. The stuff that you're doing power over MIDI, is it using the extra two conductors, or is it doing something weird where they're coupling it into the pins 1 and 3 or something like that? So the MIDI, the opto isolation, it's full 5-pin, but is it using pins 4 and 5 for that, or is it putting it on 1 and 3 or something like that? That's the question. No clue. Okay. It's old gear. Okay, so I know some stuff put it on pins 4 and 5, and other stuff put it across 1 and 3, and it's so as far as the opto isolation is concerned, that's only at one end. And so is anything not what's not opto isolating? Because if you have to live enough for it. So if the gear is delivering the power, Yeah, input should be opto isolated, right? The if WIDI is using power off of off a MIDI port, a MIDI 5-pin MIDI port, by default you're not going to find power on those extra 2 pins. So they're going to have to be picking it up off the data power, which is a little hinky if you ask me. But that's, you know. Yeah, a lot of things are going to 3.5 volts. Because processors are going to 3.3 volts. And so it's a, you know, there's if you run lower voltage, you get through the systems, you've got less power to waste somewhere, which means less heat, and all that kind of stuff. So it's you know, they're making design decisions based around the processors, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Oh, I see why it's getting tricked, because the stupid mic is in the picture. That's what, right in the middle of the picture. That'll do it. As we adjust gear on the fly. There. Maybe that'll be better. So anyway, Wabbits and Donuts. I don't know where Wabbit is. Slap it around. That's right. You know, I've had to rebuild this mic boom a couple of times, so it's a little sketchy. So WIDI uses pin 4 for power. So interesting. Hey Craig, welcome. You've caught me about the time that I'm going to start winding down. Interesting, because I didn't know. So you bring up Dante, and except for it being, and I'll go back to the network, the audio network. I think Dante is the way to go, especially with the new stuff in Dante that's coming, because Dante AV is the new Dante AV standard is. There's not much you can't send over now. I haven't looked to see if it's I haven't looked to see if they can put MIDI across it yet. I'll have to check that out. That'll be something. That'll be something to look into. Well, and there's reasons, and you know, I think that's what was the thing I was saying too. It's expensive. Dante is expensive, and you know, but MADI supports MIDI, but it's MADI is, I like MADI. I just did a whole, not just, around the beginning of COVID, I did was in the middle of an installation where we were tying an intercom system to an audio system in a television station, and all the go-between is MADI, and it took. The setup was amazingly simple. As complex as everything else is in that system is, the handshaking to get the MIDI or the MADI working between the two was just worked. You know, I've not done a whole lot. I've not done a whole lot of looking at AVB, but I don't see any reason for them to change unless they really want to up the ante on capabilities. But I don't see a good reason for them to change, especially as much AVB stuff as they've already got out there and other folks already have out there. You know, it's it's a tried and true standard. It works well. It's cheaper. Yeah, it's less expensive. Certainly less expensive. And it works. Yeah, it's getting late. I got an early morning too. Ken, thanks so much for coming. Appreciate you stopping by. 4 Jupiter 6s and a Prophet 5. I guess it's great work if you can get it. So good night, Kent. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. And like I said, I'm going to start winding down myself. Play some music and then call it an evening. So thanks everybody for coming. Let's start this thing making the noises again. What's muted? What's not? There we go. Get that going. Get the what's that? I'll get the drone back in. Get the freaky stuff back in. And thanks, Jeff. Thanks everyone who came. I appreciate y'all coming out and spending some time with me tonight. Hopefully we will see you again very soon, and we do appreciate it again. Thanks. See y'all.